Okay, so welcome back to another deck profile video. In today's video, we are going to cover the Ice Snow trait, which essentially started with the Hexablaumon, but it's now been upgraded with the Scadimon stuff. It's a very janky deck, I won't lie. However, it's good fun to play with anyway. And as always, we will dive straight in with our Digi-Eggs, which we're running a 5 of. To start with, we're running a 1 of the Bukamon from BT14. Again, you know, its inherited effect is ultimately if this Digimon, if your opponent has no Digimon with as many or fewer Digivolution cards as this Digimon gains jamming. It was obviously restricted for a very good reason, because it was so easy for blue colour decks to ultimately have the jamming effect. However, that doesn't really matter now because of the level 3 cards that keep coming out. Next up, we got the Hyarimon from EX7. We're running a 4 of. Its inherited effects are when attacking once per turn, but if your opponent has no Digimon with Digivolution cards, you get to draw 1 card. It's just a good, solid draw card overall for this type of deck, because you're going to be doing a lot of source trashing in order to progress a lot of your effects. Next up, though, we have 12 rookies in total. The first one we're starting with is Balukamon from EX7, which has an on-play effect. You reveal the top 3 cards of the deck, and then you add 1 card with the Paildramon or Hexablaumon in its name, and 1 card with the Ice Snow trait among them to your hand, and then you return the rest to the bottom of the deck. It's inherited, so when attacking once per turn, but you trash the top Digivolution card of one of your opponent's Digimon. This is just your turn 1 search card, easily able to pick out 2 sources. For our next set of rookies, we've got Crabmon from EX8. Its on play is one of your Digimon gains blocker until the end of your opponent's turn, and its inherited effect is generally jamming. I was running a 4 of Snow Agumon in this deck, however, it rarely sees gameplay because of all the ace cards that you're going up against mainly. So just having blocker generally seems to be a fitting part of this deck, in not so many words. Our last set of rookies is Penguinmon from EX8. It's got a your turn effect, but ultimately when this Digimon would Digivolve into a Digimon card with the Ice Snow trait, you can reduce that cost by 1. And it's when attacking is not once per turn inherited effect. You give one of your opponent's Digimon security attack -1 until the end of their turn. Again, just 12 rookies for the deck. You can run more, however 12 seems to be a majority number for this kind of deck. Next up, we have our champions. So I'm running a 2 of Magnamon from Structure Deck 17. Its security effect is the Digivolve 1 Digimon. And then at the end of the battle, you can Digivolve over the top of a level 3 Digimon card without paying the cost. It comes with blocker and armor purge, and it's when Digivolving effects, you trash the top Digivolution card of one of your opponent's Digimon for each of their colors, and then you return one of your opponent's Digimon with no sources back to their hand. Next set of champions rather, we're running is Paildramon from EX7. When Digivolving, you trash the bottom 2 Digivolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon. And then if your opponent has no Digimon with sources, this Digimon gains jamming and blocker until the end of their turn. It also comes with a when attacking once per turn inherited effect, where ultimately you trash the top Digivolution card of one of your opponent's Digimon. And then lastly, for our set of champions, we are running a 4 of Frigimon from EX8 as well. So in this case, it comes with Ice Clad. It's on play, and when Digivolving effect is you trash the bottom 2 Digivolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon. Then if your opponent has no Digimon with Digivolution cards, you gain 1 memory. Similarly, it's when attacking, inherited effect is give one of your opponent's Digimon security attack -1 until the end of their turn. So that concludes our champions. Moving on into our ultimates, we are running 4 of Chris Paildramon from EX7. Again, comes with Ice Clad. When Digivolving, you trash any 2 Digivolution cards under your opponent's Digimon. And then if your opponent has no Digimon with Digivolution cards, this Digimon unsuspends. Its inherited effects, again, not once per turn, but whilst your opponent has no Digimon with Digivolution cards, this Digimon with the Ice Snow trait gains piercing and security attack +1. Next up, we're running a 3-off of Polar Bearmon from EX8. Again, comes with Iceclad, but it's on play, and when Digivolve is that, again, you trash any 2 Digivolution cards from underneath your opponent's Digimon, and then one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards can't suspend or activate when Digivolving effects until the end of their turn. Very similarly, its inherited effect is the same as the Crisp Dramon. Moving on to our level 6s, we've got Hexablow from EX7. Comes with Security Attack +1 and Iceclad. It's when Digivolving effects that you trash any 4 Digivolution cards underneath your opponent's Digimon. And then if your opponent has no Digimon with Digivolution cards, you can return one of their Tamers to the bottom of the deck. Opponent's turn, essentially in short, just means if your opponent has a Digimon with as many or fewer Digivolution cards as this one, they cannot suspend. Next up we have Scardimon from EX8. It comes with Iceclad and Barrier. Its first when Digivolving effect lets you play a level 4 or lower Ice Snow trait Digimon from your hand without paying the cost. However, for each other Digimon with no Digivolution cards, you can increase the level by 1. Secondly, when Digivolving when attacking once per turn, but you can place a Digimon with no Digivolution cards to the bottom of the security and then unsuspend this Digimon. Our level 7 is Imperial Dramon Paladin Mode Ace. When Digivolving, you trash all of the Digivolution cards of all of your opponent's Digimon, and then you return either your own or your opponent's trash to the bottom of the deck. If a level 7 white card is included as part of that, you gain free memory. Secondly, it's when attacking is not once per turn, but by returning 1 Digimon card with no sources to the bottom of the deck, you can unsuspend this Digimon. Moving on to our Tamers, we're starting with Sora and Joe from BT5. Start of turn, if your opponent has a Digimon with no Digivolution cards, you gain 2 memory, and its your turn effect is when one of your blue Digimon attacks. By suspending this Tamer, you can trash up to 2 bottom Digivolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon. It's a good 3-off to have, especially for the memory gain, because a lot of the time you're going to be finding that your opponent has Digimon with no sources because of your effects. And then the next 2-off that we're running is Suzune from EX8. Start of main effect is if your opponent has a Digimon, you gain 1 memory. And its all turns effect is when your Digimon are played or Digivolve. If any of them have the Ice Snow trait, you can suspend this Tamer and then trash any 1 Digivolution card from under your opponent's Digimon. Again, just similarly, it's ideal for the memory gain, but also at the same time, if you have any issues trashing Digivolution cards, she's a good 2-off to have. Options wise, the first one I'm running is Ice Wall from EX1, restricted for a reason, but its main effect is all of your opponent's Digimon gain when attacking, lose 2 memory until the end of their turn. Essentially, it's just a card to keep you in the game. Additionally, its security effect is you gain 2 memory, so either way it's a good card, but it's just ideally if you're on the back foot. The next set of option cards we're running is a 2 of Sorai. A bit of a blast from the past with this one, but it's an EX3 card. You basically trash the top 4 Digivolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon, and then until the end of their turn, your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards can attack. So again, it just puts your opponent on the back foot a little bit, just to make sure that you stay in the game, especially if they are somewhat aggressive. And then the other option cards we're running a 2-off of Blue Scramble. If you're not familiar with this card, you essentially use its main effect to Digivolve one of your blue Digimon into another blue Digimon with the cost reduced by 3. And then you place this card in your battle area. Start of turn effect is essentially if your opponent has a Digimon, you can activate the delay, which returns one of your blue Digimon cards from your trash to the top of the deck. And then if you don't have a Digimon, you can play 1 blue Digimon with a card with 2000 EP or less from your trash without paying the cost. We're also running a 2 of a blue memory boost, which just reveals the top 4 cards of your deck, and then you can add 1 blue Digimon card among them to your hand, whilst bottom decking the rest. Its delay effect is essentially you gain 2 memory, and its security effect is naturally just placing this card in your battle area. It's just a good 2-off to have, especially as at some point you will need memory gain just to utilise effects or Digivolutions. We're also running a 2-off of mental training, which in not so many words, you reveal the top 2 cards of your deck, and you can add any 1 blue card among them to your hand, and then bottom deck the rest. Its delay effect in this case is ultimately if you digivolve into a blue Digimon card, you can activate the delay effect of this card to reduce that cost by 2. And then that's it. That's our 50 card deck for Ice Snow. So the 50 card deck profile is now on the screen. Feel free to copy and paste it. Let me know whether you'd make any tweaks to this in the comments below. Otherwise, like the video, subscribe to the channel. And like I said, this is a very janky deck, so just bear that in mind. However, it's really good fun to play. I'm just hoping it'll get a little bit more support in the future, but we'll soon see. But otherwise, thank you for watching and take care.